Hi, thanks for joining me with another episode of Still Growing. I generally don't vlog about what goes on in Hollywood because I think it's general knowledge that the craziness with drugs and alcohol and prostitution, that those people in Hollywood basically know exactly what's going on, and they basically sell their soul for the benefits of wealth and fame. But when I hear Jaguar Wright Johnson talking about Clive Davis and that he's actually the source of a lot of that pedophilia, abuse of women, sexual deviant, especially children being abused with drugs, and Clive Davis is actually at the head of all of that. And basically, he set the standard. I said, well, you know what? This is something that I really must talk about. So have a look.
I'm telling all about what happened in Bad Boy Offices, Puff. With you and Christopher Williams. You should have locked the door. You should have locked the door, Puff. But see, you were so brazen, right? Because you the king of everything, right? You ain't even got to lock your office door when you doing fucked up shit on the other side. You wanted somebody to see. Because you like the power of it. You like the power of knowing that you can make people lie for a couple dollars, that you can make people compromise everything that they believe in for a couple dollars. I tell you this, if all your houses and all your money burn up, what you gonna do then? What you gonna do then? If Clive Davis says, I no longer want to be associated with you, what you gonna do then? I guarantee you, if Clive cut you loose, you fucking done, nigga. You're done. That's your rabbi. And you want to be just like him. Just like him. One problem. You're not white, you're not Jewish, and you're not a real Hollywood legacy. And I got enough information about you and all of your lies and all of your smear campaigns and how you like to run artists around and run them out. Shit, I'm waiting to get sued. For a lawyer to call me and tell me that they're giving me a gag order because I'm lying. Because I'm defaming their character. Now, the thing that cracks me up about pop culture is this is how awesome pop culture is. It's a sickness, see. They infect your mind with information in a way that makes you want to accept it and believe it. And y'all fight for them. See, that's what these niggas in this game have done. They've turned y'all into their minions, into their headhunters. They use your money that you spend to buy their albums to victimize women, to destroy great careers, and to stay in control and power. They use y'all. Y'all buy they shit. You get on their sites, you buy all of their shit, all of their clothes, all of their everything, and you make them rich so that they can take advantage of black women. And young black men just looking for a way to be themselves.
Diddy isn't actually my real target. He's a means to an end. I'm going to tell you something right now. If you want something to end, you got to cut it off at the head. See, certain animals and certain beasts can actually regenerate their own limbs. If you cut off a segment of a snake, he can make himself a new tail. But if you want the snake to die, what do you have to do? You have to cut off the head. There is no other head in the music industry than Clive Davis. Everyone that is mentored under him have become victimizers, liars, thieves, and probably worse things than that under his tutelage. He has to end. If we want women to be safe in this business, if we want fair business practices, if we want people to actually be acknowledged for what they achieve rather than what other people give to them, unearned, We got to cut off the head. It's time for Clive Davis to retire permanently.
He ain't gonna go willingly though, Jag.
I don't give no fuck.
He ain't going willingly.
He'll go. Because there's something that I know.
Oh shit.
And it goes back decades, long before I was born, but it was given to me by a very credible source. It's a mistake that he made many years ago when he was still actively managing Aretha Franklin.
Oh.
You know what you done, Clive. Confess your sins and retire for good. And take all your little bitch-ass minion puppets with you. Because though you might not be out front, you're running them.
Woo.
They're doing your bidding. You're the problem, Clive Davis. You are the issue. You are the reason why women keep getting raped. You are the reason why boys keep getting sodomized. You are the reason why careers, brilliant careers, come crashing down to a halt because they don't want to work within your agenda. You are the head nigga in charge when it comes to hell. And it's time for you to go back from whence you came. I promise you, you might get me, but I'll get you first.
Now, I know for a lot of the older people, you know who Clive Davis is. But a lot of people born after, 2000 probably have no idea who Clive Davis is. This is no just regular, executive or anything like that. Clive Davis is probably considered the godfather of the music industry. Clive Davis is basically considered the one who is responsible for bringing the music industry into the new millennium. So to hear that he's actually involved in these things, and not just involved, but they all flow from him being him at the top, I don't know what to say. Okay, so let me just give you a couple of examples of exactly who this guy is, okay? He started out as a manager in the 1960s at Columbia Records, responsible for bringing in artists such as Chicago, Santana, Billy Joe, people like that. And then he moved on he personally was responsible for signing artists such as Neil Diamond, Pink Floyd, Herbie Hancock. And then he moved on to not just rock, but also into R&B, country music, jazz, and pop music. So he played a great role in the careers of people such as Simon and Garfunkel, Bob Dylan, Barbra Streisand, Andy Williams, Miles Davis. So I know a lot of these artists, some of them are from the 70s and what have you in the 80s. Most people may not be familiar with them, but these are artists that actually founded the rock and pop R&B industry. In combination with Columbia Records, he also moved on to creating Arista Records. And so with Arista Records, he also founded Barry Manilow. And with that, of course, Arista Record launched the career of Whitney Houston, Kenny G, Sarah McLachlan, and also worked with people like Aretha Franklin, expanding into Arista Nashville. And so he worked with artists there such as Alan Jackson, Brooke and Dunn, Diamond Rio. And then going into the 1990s, the end of the 1989 to the 1990s, he started a collaboration with Babyface. And so there he worked with L.A. Reid and Babyface to form the group La Face Records. And with that, you get TLC, Toni Braxton, Usher, Outkast, Pink. All of these artists came up under Davis. Okay, and then moving into 1984, he's expand into starting another collaboration with Sean Puffy Combs. And in the video, Jaguar talks a lot about how Clive Davis has actually mentored Puffy Combs into the same behavior which Puffy is now carrying out, which is allegedly sexually preying on, both women and men and, children. Eventually, these people end up leaving the industry with nothing to show for it because they're constantly being pumped out. They use whatever they can to force these people to produce. And at the same time, they're killing their soul inside because they're physically and mentally abusing them. So with Puffy, they form the collaboration of Bad Boy Records. And with Bad Boy Records, you get such artists such as Notorious, B.I.G., Faith Evans, and of course, Puffy himself. So again, I wanted to talk about all of these artists because I wanted to let people really understand that Clive Davis is not just an executive. It's just not someone who have worked with a few artists. He seemed to be the godfather of the music industry. And so I wonder now if he is really Harvey Weinstein of the music industry. We just had Harvey Weinstein locked up because of his preying on women in the movie industry. And now we hear that Clive Davis is the one that's preying in the music industry. This 2020 year is turning out to be a year of revelations, a year of people actually speaking up and coming out. Although it's just Jaguar that's publicly saying these things now, she's not the only one who's been saying these things sort of undercover for a very long time. And I'm definitely not saying that it's true because I wasn't there and there is no evidence to show that that was the case. He hasn't been charged or prosecuted or even approached. It's just a singer right now coming forward and talking about that this is who he is and this is what he's been doing in the music industry, and that it's time that he goes, and that his behavior has set the standard for how women are treated, women and men and young children, because she also talks about how people like Michael Jackson turned out the way they turned out because the music industry prostitute them from their children, right? And although they're artists and they're producing artists and they're famous artists, they still prostitute them. They still abuse them, and they still give them drugs to make sure that, they can deal with the reality of what Hollywood is. Anyways, thank you to Storm for this interview. And I'm just watching and see what's going to happen. If the allegations are correct, before he retire, he needs to be prosecuted for his crimes. So right now, Clive Davis is 80 years old and he is still in the industry. He's still working as Chief Executive Officer for all of Sony Music Entertainments. So he's still working. Let's stay tuned and see what happens next. Peace and love. See you next time. Bye.